Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Vitality Project. I'm Dr. Bob. Yesterday, we took a look at how it is that our brains are naturally wired to focus on the negative. We called it the negativity bias in the brain. There's a kind of constant vigilance that we have for any kind of potential threat. And I asked you to try to analyze your own thought process. Specifically, I asked you to see if you can root out any possible tendency to catastrophize, which is just taking any concern and turning it into a disaster, and how much real estate this can take up in the brain. I want you to take a look at that. Before we go any further, I want you to know that I don't for a second assume that any of us right now are even close to normal in terms of worry during this current QuaranTime. That's what I call this time. It's so unprecedented. And during this current QuaranTime, we should rightly be cautious and I believe extra careful. There is a deadly pandemic on the loose, and we certainly don't want to be its next victim. But there's a point, and I think you'll understand me with this, there's a point beyond which our worries turn into true enemies. Enemies not only of our peace of mind, but even enemies of our physical health. I find it ironic, and I've lived this a lot in my own life, that the things that we worry most about end up making us ill, not just mentally, but also physically. So I want to give you a homework assignment. I want you to join me in something that I think is simple, but not easy. It's simple to think of taking 5 minutes and closing your eyes and breathing in and out and focusing on the breath. Couldn't be any more simple, right? But I want you to notice how that's not so easy. And specifically, I want you to take notice how much your mind naturally wanders when you do this. So taking 5 minutes just to close your eyes, breathing in, breathing out, focus on your breath, and then follow the mind as it generates all these thoughts. It's next to impossible for most people to remain still and focus just in the present moment. In this case, we're just going to be looking at our breath. And so I want you to see if you can investigate how your mind naturally inclines towards thinking about the past or the future. It has a hard time staying in the present. Oftentimes it worries about the future, has regrets about the past. Very difficult to stay in the present. And as an extra special gift to yourself, I'd like you to see if you can bring your attention back to your breath. Each time that you notice it heading off into a direction of the future or the past, see if you can reel it back into the present. And then my guess is you'll notice your brain defaulting back to worry or regret soon enough on its own. But there's an insight here that's important, and it's this awareness of how your brain works from the inside, not from the outside, but from the inside. Just this awareness of how our brains have a difficult time staying in the present, move towards the future, oftentimes with worry, how this is such a huge step towards beginning to build the capacity to stick around for longer and longer periods of time in the present moment without worry or regret. Do I have your interest now? Okay, so give this a shot. This is your exercise. Come back tomorrow and we'll unpack further this whole issue of staying present and trying to find peace of mind when our brains naturally want to move out of that. I think you'll find it illuminating as you try this exercise, okay? In between now and when I see you next, please stay safe, be well, and thank you for joining me here at the Vitality Project. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.